So Christmas is over, and that means, I guess, that there is purpose for me still on this planet for another more year, I guess. And one thing that I really like to do in this time is to do a tarot card reading, just to kind of set the space, set my intentions, and kind of have some guidance on the year. Honestly, I did one for 2024, and it was so accurate, and it warned me, and I was like, no, it'll be fine, like, it's not that deep, it's dramatic. She wasn't lying, and because of that, I feel like I'm taking it a little bit more seriously this year, so I'm gonna be more intentional with the reading and like really focus on putting my energy into the cards and listening to it. What I've decided to do is to do a reading with 3 cards and then draw the outcome for you guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to draw all 3 or just one of them, but we will see as we go. So the way I lay out my readings is I light a candle to represent fire. This is a white candle to simulate new beginnings and clarity. I then light some incense. And then I add some rose quartz to give me a sense of calmness to carry into the new world, and also some Amazonite just to set the tempo for a new beginning and a fresh start. The cards that I use are from this Neon Moon deck. My friend got them for me, and they are honestly the best thing ever. They feel so me. They have this purple and pink and blue color theme, which you know is my whole vibe. And honestly, I really think it's important to have a deck that really feels like it's for you. The first deck that I bought impulsively, and I wasn't really thinking too much about it, and a lot of my readings just never seemed to resonate. But ever since I had this deck, I've spent time with it, I admire it, and every reading just feels like it's for me, and that's why I think it's so important to be intentional with everything to do with tarot. And this one, the booklet, it actually, instead of like a normal description, it's based on like a post-apocalyptic comic world. So all of the descriptions are basically quotes from the storyline, and I thought that was really cool, and that really helps me rationalize things because I get confused quite easy. So if you're interested in this deck, I will put the link down below. So just before we get into the actual spread, I just wanted to kind of give a general theme to the drawings. So I created this like floral frame to go around each of the cards, and I'm using Procreate to do this. And yeah, I'll share a little bit of my process with you. So the first thing I do is I start by sprinkling a little bit of water over my cards, and then do a general shuffle by saying my intentions, saying them out loud, and really focusing on what I want the card to represent. And this first card is meant to be a generalized feel of the year. What's the theme? And I do this for all my readings because it helps me understand the rest of the cards. And yeah, it just gives me like a general idea of what I should be looking for. And card number 2 will represent a strength that I should look out for and look towards, something that I should focus on and rely on maybe in times of stress. And the third card represents the opposite, a weakness that I should look out for and maybe avoid, or just something to be wary of. So now I've done my 3-card spread, I can start flipping them over. The first card that I draw is the World reversed. The Neon Moon booklet describes this card as the city breathes in life and exhales corpses. Those who survive are lessened by their sacrifices to another day. There isn't an end to this pain, only more of this machine devouring us as it bleeds itself to death. As morbid as it sounds, I definitely feel that as a general theme for the next year, I'm sensing an uprising and revolution, and that's something that is weighing heavy on my heart as well. But another thing I wanted to point out is how the figure on this card, it kind of faces the world that looks broken and alone. It's a sense of kind of removing yourself and singling yourself out so that you can kind of go on your own journey despite the chaos. And that's really what I was feeling here. Here I wanted to go for the more abstract approach, and the hands are kind of holding the world within it, but I wanted to still include the visuals from Sagittarius, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio. The second card that I pulled is the Hermit, which is the 9th card in the Major Arcana. And if you remember when I was shuffling, this card actually fell out, and you're supposed to take in a card that falls out because it means it's for you. But I put it back in the deck just because I wanted to be certain, and it actually showed up again for this exact card slot. So this card was definitely meant to be for me. The Neon Moon booklet describes this card in this way. Go? Go where? The city doesn't lead to anywhere else anymore. Better to stay on the wire. Its input is better food for the hungry, and I am so very ravenous. This card typically has imagery of a being or someone holding a light or a lantern, which I kind of interpret as them having their own light that guides them rather than an external light. And that's definitely what I feel like this reading was giving me. It's about following my own instincts and having time for introspection. The Hermit on Neon Moon isn't as traditional, and I wanted to kind of bring back the idea of holding a lantern or something because I really liked that idea. So that's what I'm doing here. The final card that I pull is the 7 of Vials, or the 7 of Cups. The Neon Moon book describes this as too many drinks. What was in them? I've been seeing things ever since. These things that aren't there, but they're in my face and I can't stop looking. So this card is quite nuanced because generally the way it's depicted involves cups full of loads of different things, as you can see in the Neon Moon one. There's one with a head, there's a snake, there's a dragon, and I felt that it usually represents abundance in a way. However, for me, what struck out, especially bearing in mind that this card was meant to represent a weakness, was something to be wary of. I genuinely do think that the cups hold my vices, or things to avoid, things to be scared of, and things that I kind of rely on. The Neon Moon depicts these cups or these vials as what looks to be beer cans, and I definitely felt that with regards to maybe substances or just kind of clinging on to things that no longer serve me. this card I wanted to be quite simple, so I literally just drew out the 7 cups, and they all contain the same imagery as the originals. So yeah, that was my reading. Honestly, I'm quite happy with it. I definitely relate to what it was trying to say. If anything, I've been kind of silently feeling that progression, especially with the world card, of it's the time to take action, and it's the time to I guess break generational cycles, and that really does happen with the introspection that the hermit was leaning towards, and yeah, kind of like knowing where I stay safe, knowing where to rely my trust, and kind of having faith in that rather than looking for outside sources and kind of like looking for things where people may not be trustworthy or sources may not be trustworthy or reliable. But yeah, I don't know if you were interested in the spirituality side of things, but that is a big part of my life. So if you do want to see more things like that, I can definitely do some more of that on my channel. But yeah, happy new year guys, and I hope you enjoyed. Remember to subscribe and like and all of that stuff, and hopefully this channel will be consistent for the rest of the year. Yeah, bye.